Hello and welcome back to RC Icons. So in this video, I want to show you some Buyee buys. I'm addicted to Buyee, if you haven't noticed. I found that website when I was on vacation a couple of months ago, and I can't get over the pricing. Now, you have to be careful with Buyee because the pricing on the goods is great, but the shipping sometimes will hammer you. So this one box here, it's a big box. I get it. And they ship DHL. You literally, some of the stuff on Buyee, I'll get from Japan to the US in 2 days. Usually an average 5, never more than 7. But that one box was $140 shipping. And it hammered the price, the deal that I got on the actual car. But I had a feeling that was going to happen, so I waited a long time for this particular car, and I'll explain when we open it up, for the price to go down. So it didn't sell in its first 3 auctions. Nobody bid on it. So every time it didn't sell, the owner would drop the starting bid, and he dropped the starting bid. And it got to the point where it was like, all right, even if the shipping gets out of control, it's going to be worth it. And it still is worth it, don't get me wrong, and you'll see why when we open it up. But my advice to you on Buyee is you'll find great deals, but you have to be careful because sometimes the shipping will get you. I know Dennis in Canada just bought a 420X. In fact, I was going to bid on that car, and I missed the end of the auction. He got a 420 for $309. The shipping to Canada was $65 US, which isn't terrible, but a 420 is not a big car, right? And I'll go over what I paid for this stuff and what the shipping costs were, just so that you have an idea. Now, you don't have to necessarily go with Express or EMS DHL, where you get it in 2 to 7 days. You can ship it ground and pay way less. But it's going to take 2 months for it to get here from Japan. And I have always had better luck with customs when it's an express shipment. They don't necessarily tear into the box. They don't rip it apart, and they don't hassle you for the stuff that's inside. Because it needs to be there within a certain number of days based on like the EMS guarantees, they usually just let it go. So I'm willing to spend that money, especially stuff from Australia. Like when I get stuff from Jason at True Vintage, I always have him send to EMS. When my low C XX4 came, I think it was like $85 EMS. Done. No, not even a question. And that's Australian dollars, right? So that was like whatever, $50 American, and I had it in 7 days. Absolutely. I'll pay that money any day. So I have not opened these. This box is a little bit crushed on the bottom, but I know the car is a robust car, so I'm not really worried about it. So this first one I'm going to open is Chris Watson's fault. Now, Chris has been a subscriber since day one. Chris and I email back and forth all the time. I think some of our first messages, he was restoring a King Cab, and I had sent him a set of brand new wheels and tires for free. He wasn't asking for them for free. He just asked if I had an extra set, and at the time I had a ton of King Cab wheels and tires, so I sent him a set. He wanted to pay for them, and I told him no. And that's kind of how I roll sometimes. So that's how we met. But he has an unbelievable collection, and we've emailed weekly, daily, ever since. So he sends me a picture of this particular car. Now, I bought a kit. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, it's a TA05. And I'm like, that's not just a TA05. What is it? And he's like, well, uh-oh. Is that glue? Hopefully that's glue. Yeah, that's glue. Looked like oil was leaking. I'm like, this is a sealed kit. Oil should not be leaking out. So he's like, it's a TA05. I gotta open it. I know what it is, but I don't want to say it before I open it. M4. And I was like, I really didn't. I've never heard of that chassis before. I saw the pictures of it, and he's like, it's a TA05 for the M series chassis cars, so the mini style cars. So I was like, wow. What's the wheelbase? He's like 216 millimeter. I immediately ran over to my Volkswagen Golf Group 2 that's on the M05 chassis and tore into the side of that box, 216 millimeter. Now, I didn't realize that the M05 was front wheel drive. So I am super intrigued about that chassis, but when I do the body set, it's going on this chassis for the cabinet for sure. But we're probably going to build that M05 chassis up just because I want to run it on that front wheel drive chassis. But I immediately went on eBay and started looking for a TA05 M4 chassis, and there wasn't one for under 500, which to me is a little bit high, but not crazy high when you see this. This is all carbon fiber and bling aluminum. I mean, it's a TRF car essentially. So I get it. I totally get it. So I ended up paying $270-ish, maybe $280 is what I won this for on Buyee. And then to ship this here was $39 US, this kit. And I had it in 5 days. So for me, that's a score. I mean, 310, maybe 320 USD for a TA05 M4 to my door, sealed. I'll take that all day long. That's a Buyee bargain right there, as far as I'm concerned. Buyee bargain. This one is definitely a Buyee bargain. Wait till you see this. So you just saw a video where I sent 3 chassis out in trade to Jason, JRB Motorcycle Restorations, down in North Carolina. You didn't see the kits that I sent him, but in that video of the RB 7.6, and everybody's saying, what's a 7.6? They didn't make a 7.6. Kyosho didn't. Jason did. Go check out my Kyosho video that Jason sent JRB Motorcycle Restoration to the channel. It's a couple weeks ago. It's a Wednesday video. That car is sick. Jason did an unbelievable job putting that together. But Jason has a story, and he had a dream. And his dream was to be able to build TRF 201 XM. So he had bought a TRF 201 donor car that was hurting and it needed work. And he was able to get an XM conversion kit, but of course he needed the XR conversion kit. And he had put me on to a Dutch site that had 11 in stock. Now Jason is a freaking internet wizard when it comes to finding parts. He'll find, if there's a hobby store in the Netherlands in like population 6, and it's an online hobby store, this guy sniffs it out and finds the friggin' part. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Unbelievable resource when it comes to finding stuff. So he sends me an email. Do you think the site's legitimate? I send the site immediately an email like, hey, I see you have 11 of these. That's really rare. Like, how do you have 11? And they're like, well, you know, we had them in stock and we never posted them online, and it's time to unload them. But they're obviously discontinued, so once they're gone, they're gone. So I sent a message back to Jason and was like, you know, it looks legitimate to me. And he's like, boy, I hope they'll have them, you know, in a month or so, because I won't be able to get one until then. So I was like, well, frig it. I'm just going to buy a couple, because I always like to have that kind of stuff on the shelf. So I bought 2 with the intentions of one going to him. And I'm sorry, you're probably bored to death. So when it came in, I'm like, listen, your XR is here, and he sent me, what did he send me? He sent me the body for my DB01 Baldry that you saw, along with a whole pile of motors and parts for that kit. And then I was like, well, what else are you looking for? Because he wanted to trade something else, and he was looking for an Optima Mid re kit and an Astute, Super Astute re kit. And I had talked in that video how I had original Super Astute, which was going to stay new in box, and I had 3 Super Astute kits that I had spent like $250 a piece on just to have them. 2 of them I had plans for. I need to build one for Glenn's TRF Astute body that Attack RC painted. Glenn sent me this ages ago, but I don't have a Super Astute built. So I need one of those kits to build up a chassis on a Fiberlight carbon fiber chassis with all kinds of bling. It's another Deja Vu build. You just saw one, I believe, on the Top Force. That's another Deja Vu build that has to happen. So I need one of those kits for the Deja Vu build, and then I needed one to build an original Super Astute for the shelf. Granted, it was going to be a kit, Super Astute, which was fine. I was fine with it. Not a big deal. Then, sorry. Then this happened. If I can figure out how to open it. I thought this was a steal. You guys can tell me in the comments what you think. So this is an original Super Astute new in box kit. Another one. Like I said, I have one that was going to stay new in box for my new in box collection. I got it from Max down in Australia, who owns a pizza shop. I got a bunch of cars from Max. Those videos are on my channel somewhere. I got a Super Astute from Max, and then I got a Super Shot from Max, and a Mach 1. What did he do? Reseal this thing? He did reseal it. Whoever owned it. I bought a Mach 1 Hot Shot new in box kit. This is not a Tamiya seal I'm cutting off, by the way. Whoever the guy was that sold this on Buyee resealed it. So I saw this come up. And the box is a little bit weathered. But I don't care. I have my new in box one is mint. And I'll show you when we bring the camera over, but I just need to look at it real quick. Yeah, it's a new in box original Super Astute. So I bought this. This went for $424 USD, and it cost me $70 USD to get here. So it's roughly a $500 new in box original Super Astute. Sounds like a lot of money. $500 is nothing to sneeze at, but the only original new in box Super Astute on eBay right now is running $900. Now that's overpriced. I believe that in my soul that that's too much. But I believe that a new in box Super Astute should be selling for more than $500. In fact, the TTC gearbox alone, I've got a hop-up one sitting right here. You're lucky if you can get one of those for $250, $260, maybe even $300. Right? So the entire car, $500. That's a Buyee bargain. That's a Buyee bargain. That's the way I look at it. So that's my second Buyee bargain. I could have just built that other kit for the shelf and it would have been fine. But I can't pass up a deal like that. That's probably why I've got 400 cars. I can't say no to something. I think that's a bargain. $424 for a new unbox Super Astute original. Like the Riris are selling for over $500 now on eBay. I mean, I'm not saying they're selling for that price, but there's only so many available, and if you want one, you have to either find someone that has one sitting on the shelf that they're willing to sell for the same price that they bought it, because they were selling for over $300 when they first came out. So you got to contact that guy and say, hey, listen, I know you bought that Riri 2 years ago for $350, $300, and then you had to pay to ship it to your house. Can I have that for the same price that you paid? And then I'm going to pay another $50 or $60 to ship it to my house. So you're going to be into it for $400 anyways for a Riri. Whereas I'm into that one for $500. I don't think that's terrible. And I'm not trying to prove a point. I'm just saying in my mind, that's the deal that makes sense to me. So I think that that's a Buyee bargain. Now, granted, my Riri Super Astute kits I got for short money. So when the Super Astutes first came out, they were over $300 from a hobby shop. But they were out for like a year and a half, maybe longer, and they were still available. And what happened is places like Horizon just they dropped the price just to get them out the door. So when I bought mine, I bought one of them, I think was $318. Sorry for the noise. I think it was $318 for a Riri. Well, like 2 months later, they were down to like $235. Sealed Riri Super Astute, $235, and that was shipped. So I bought two. I was like, it can't hurt to have those sitting on the shelf. I'm like, even if I just sell them later for $400 a piece, like whatever. So I bought two of them, and I just sent Jason one, and now I have another one spare. Don't blow up my emails because I'm not looking to sell it. I bought that one twofold. A, it's a deal. Now I get to build an original Super Astute, which isn't much different from the Riri, but it's about the blister packs, cutting open the blister packs and doing it the way that it was back then. So yeah, and I get to have an extra one for a rainy day. Like someday it's raining out and I want to build something, I can just be like, oh, well, that perfect. That kit's sitting there. Or someone, gives me a story where it warrants me sending them the car or the kit, for nothing. Just to make their day. So this one, Buyee Bargain. This one first came up, I think it was a buy it now for like $479. Opening bid was like $336. Somewhere around there. And so I put it on my watch list. And because I've seen them sell for about that price, but not with electrics. This truck has full electrics. The electrics alone are worth at least $200. In my mind, that's what it would cost me to outfit this truck with electrics, because this is a 1/8. Ding, ding, ding. Not a 1/10. So for me, the electrics had like a $200 value, and then you're looking at the truck itself having a certain number of value. Didn't sell, not even a bid. And the opening bid was like whatever, $336. So then it comes up again, and the opening bid was $299. I was like, okay, we'll just watch that. So I watched it, and I almost put in a bid at the end. But if someone bids in the last minute, it's gone. You know what I mean? Like, but it's not one I necessarily had to have for the collection, although it's nice to have it because it fulfills part of my collection. Second time, nobody bid. $299. So then it dropped down to $265. Nobody bid. The fourth time it goes up, it dropped down to $217. And it had like 18 watchers. And I know Dennis with Harold was watching this one as well. Thought I had a tick on me. 217. Okay. So I let it go all the way to the last day with like, I don't know, an hour left. And I put my bid in. And I went higher than 217 because I knew as soon as I put a bid in, the people that were watching were going to start coming out of the woodwork because now someone's got a bid on it, it's going. So if they were watching it with the, like I was, with the intentions of buying it, now it's on. And sure enough, it was like poking a beehive. I put the bid in with an hour left at 217, and it wasn't 5 minutes. You've been outbid. You've been outbid. So I put a bid on it back up to 302. Because I figured, again, the electrics were worth 200. $302 was my high bid. And I ended up winning it. Body clip. There's another body clip. I ended up winning it at 294, just under 300, which I'm happy with because again, the electrics in my mind are going to cost me 200. I got to get this box out of here because this one's just big. Holy smokes. TRF 801 XT. Ah! Look at that thing. Anything in here? Nope. There's one body pin, two body pins. It's missing a body pin, but that's alright. TRF 801 XT. Did he tape this on? Electric conversion. I believe it's an HPI electric conversion. It's got a Surpass Hobby brushless system in it. 4076, and I can't read the KV. He's got some epoxy and the screw holes underneath for some strange reason. Oh, it's just rubber. Silicone. He must have done that to waterproof it or something. Because it's in all the holes that you would use for the nitro. This thing's brand new. It was nice. It was run once. Oil shocks are leaking oil, but that's all right. We can rebuild them. It was run once just to test the electrics. Now, my TRF collection. I'm going to need to find a cabinet. I have... Where do I start? I have a 414, a 415, a 416, a 417, a 418, a 419, searching for a 420. All of those cars, I put a rule, $200 or less, except the 415 was a new unbox kit I bought eons ago. Mark Reinhardt. Of course, I copied Glenn. Everything I have. If Glenn has it, I have to have it. So when he bought his, I bought mine. Put that to the side. There'll be a display case. It'll have every chassis, on-road chassis. Not the variants, but every number with a light on it at an angle. Killer, right? That's part of my TRF collection. Off-road, I've got a 201, brand new, with the Exotech 8mm extension. I've got an XR, conversion kit with a 201 to build. And I now have the Phantom body set because Glenn sent me a link one night and I ended up buying the last two that this hobby shop had. So we're going to have identical cars. It's fine. I have an XR XM with another 201. So we'll have the 201, the 201 XR, the 201 XM. Just like Glenn. Again, I copy him. You guys all know this. It's fine. I have the 211 XM. You've seen running videos of it on the channel. I've got a new chassis for that. At some point, we'll get that thing dusted off, cleaned up. The 200s are done. I'm not interested in an XMW. Although I say that, and I'll probably end up buying one because I've got every other car now. I've got a 501 built. I've got a 501 new in box. I'm pointing up behind me. I've got a 511 new in box kit sealed, and I've got a 511 all in parts. You saw a video where that came in from Martin in Switzerland. Now I've got all the hardware, I've got everything I need to put that car together. I've got two 502 kits. You saw a year ago I did my collection videos. I had two 502 kits, so I've got a 502 kit new in box to build. I have a 503 new in box right behind me. That one's sealed. And I also have a 503 in parts. Again, that one came from Martin years ago. 3 years ago. Every part you need to put a 503 together, except the hardware. I sourced the 511 and the 503 hardware over the summer. I went through the manual, cataloged all the parts that I had. It was a page long of all the shims, the bushings, the hardware, everything that I didn't have. I sourced it all. I bought it all for those two cars. So now we have the on-road chassis. We've got the 200 series, less the XMW. We have the 211. We have all of the four-wheel drive cars. I did not do both of the 501s. I have the World's Edition built, and I have the X new in box. So I have one of each, although I'm not sure if I'll end up building the X. I'll probably just leave that new in box because the four-wheel drive cars I wanted to have a built and a new in box for each one, and right now that's what I have. I have an 801X, the buggy, new in box to build at some point. Now I have the XT. Now I was not searching for the XT. It was more if I found an XT for the right price and it was in good condition, then I would entertain the thought of buying it. So I paid $294 for this car with full electrics, electric conversion kit, the whole 9 yards. Literally, essentially turnkey, ready to go. I think that's a steal. It's got not a mark on the bottom of the chassis. Yeah, the shocks are leaking oil. It might need a little bit here or there. The electronics are not the best. It's not like it's a Castle setup or a Hobby Wing setup. It's a Surpass setup. But I didn't buy this to race it. This is part of like my TRF collection. I might run it once, but I really don't want to mark this chassis up. I bought it to finish off the collection. Although, I mean, I have Creightons and I have X-Maxes. Those are my bashing rigs. This is not like, that's not what I'm thinking about when I buy this. I'm thinking about the fact that it's an XT that I don't have for $294 with full electrics. Sold. Buyee bargain. Then I got hit with the shipping, which was $140, but I had it in 3 days. So I can't really bitch about the price of the shipping, although you have to figure that in. So I'm really at like $440. Take the $200 worth of electrics out of the $440. I'm at maybe $240 for the rig. I still don't think that that's terrible. I think it's a Buyee bargain. Tell me in the comments, what do you think? I know a lot of you guys aren't huge TRF guys, and you're probably even more so not like 800 series TRF guys, but people like Dennis who race these things, Dennis, tell me in the comments, $440 shipped to your house with full electric conversion kit? Is it a Buyee bargain? I think it is. Let me bring the camera over because I know this is when it's getting way out of hand with the storytelling. I can't keep my mouth shut. Okay, what is this? Sorry, this is the Surpass. I was hoping, so that's the ESC. I just wanted to see if it had the KV number. I did get the manual. I don't know if there's, I know there's decals on there, but I don't know if that's all the decals. The decals between the 801 and the XT are shared. I do have a full decal sheet for the 800 series cars because of my new unbox 801X. This body, he said he only ran it once to test it out, but you know, he's not the best painter, and it looks like he used crayon on the windows. I'll show you when I bring the camera over. You can buy these bodies still, I believe, on Tamco, so I'll probably end up sourcing another body. Let me bring the camera over. Enough chit chat. Let me bring the camera over. Alright, so we're going to start with this one just because it's the one that's on the desk. It's just easier that way. 801 XT. Yeah! So you'll have to tell me in the comments if you think that it is a Buyee bargain. So this is either 120 amp or 150 amp. Speed control. It does go up to 4S. And it says it's got to be a 2500 or less kV. So I'm going to say that this is a 2500 kV motor. Because I can't, the heat sink is right in the way. And I don't want to cut the strap. So that's your, let's see if I can get this in frame. That's your setup there. So you've got nice, I don't know what that is. It's a digital servo, all metal cased with a metal arm. I think this is the HPI conversion set, if I remember right from the description. And then this is it censored? It's a fan. Receiver. So it does have a receiver in it, looks like. Is there a sensor wire or is it sensorless? Can't see. Looks like it's a sensorless. Spot for the battery up here. Now for my other 801, I've got the so he must have been running dual 2 cells, unless he was running 6S on it. I'm not sure. The speed control says it's only good for 4S. So this is the 120 amp waterproof Surpass. Yeah, 120 amp. I'm going to throw a battery in it, and we'll do a little running video on it, just to give it a shakedown before we kind of put it away. I do have the, I mean, it sounds like a Creighton. The mesh actually feels really good. For those of you that are only into 1/10, 1/8, and even more so 1/5 is just next level. Like I said, I've got a bunch of, I've got a couple of Creightons, some LMTs, Son of a Digger from Losi, X-Max. I've got a ton of modern day bashers in my basement that we just absolutely beat the living piss out of. I don't know that this would be one of those cars that would take that kind of abuse, but on a racetrack, this thing is probably very competitive with like the 8th scale RC8s or whatever they're called. And then the bling, the shock towers and the big bore shocks, man, it's just, it's badass. Excuse my language. And it feels great. Like, granted, the oil's leaking out, but we can rebuild those. Hopefully this one's dry. This one's leaking for sure. I can see the oil on the arm. Hopefully the bladders are alright, and if not, Dennis or somebody will lead me in the right direction to get some new bladders. Oh, I love it. Yeah, the oil is definitely out. Need some preload. So yeah, we'll get this thing running at least once. It doesn't need to be mint for the collection. It's more, I just wanted it to complete the collection more than anything. So that's my first Buyee bargain. Caleb has been wanting one of these. Boy, it's going to be hard to keep him from taking this thing out and just jumping it 40 feet in the air. He doesn't understand that the Tamiya 8th scales were meant to race, not bash. How about we cut a seal? You guys want to cut a seal? Sealed kit! Let's cut it. Not anymore. Buyee bargain. You have to understand that I get excited. So in this video, I'm kind of yelling at the camera. I'll put a picture up of what this chassis looks like in the flesh. I'm going to put Chris's chassis up, the one that got me sold on wanting one of these. When I tell you that this is a TRF car, I'm not kidding. It's got TRF shocks. It's got all kinds of blue alloy. It's running a little 380 motor because it's an M series car. But I bet you can put a 540 in it. I'd be willing to bet any kind of money. It's just small because it's, there it is. It's small because it's for the minis. Like, it's 1/12 scale, right? So, those are your tires, wheels. That's your chassis. But this thing is going to be killer under my little Golf. Oh, it's going to be a fun build. It's going to be a fun build. Belts. I wonder if there's even anything underneath this thing. Yeah, oh yeah, there's more parts. I wonder if it comes with decals. There's a decal. There is a decal sheet for it. So that's a picture of the chassis there. So the motor is front mounted, but it's not a front wheel drive. So totally different. The servo's all the way back here near the rear, and it's got this long steering arm. Crazy. And it uses the Life battery, the 6.6, like the mini lunchbox, which I have those because I have a mini lunchbox. Yeah, 380 motor. It'll be interesting to see if you can put a bigger motor in it. But for 1/12, it's going to be cool as hell. Now this has carbon shock towers front and rear, carbon upper deck, carbon lower deck, and then it's gear diff. Say make 2? Yeah, make 2. So oil-filled gear diffs. So I will probably, there's your little decal sheet. I will probably use grease instead of oil. Just because a lot of times the oil-filled gear diffs like to leak. And that's one of the tricks. You can just use some grease in there instead of the oil and it works fine, as long as it's not a car that you're abusing. So yeah, this will be a fun little 1/12 build, I'll be honest. I'm excited. It'll be cool to build up the M05 and then build this. And then essentially you've got two chassis for the same car, and then the other part of it is I think you just saw my Tamiya First 5 video where I showed my Renault Turbo 5 and how the body had a slice in the top. Well, I got a Turbo 5 body kit out of Japan for the MO5. So I need the vent piece out of that body kit to complete my original. The rest of that body is essentially available for that MO5 chassis if I take the Golf body and put it on this chassis. And then I'm bidding on another Golf body set is on eBay right now, I think for 55 bucks. So if I win that, then I'll have two Golf bodies anyways. So I can build one for the shelf and one as a runner. Although I don't know that I would run it a whole lot. So we'll have to see. Super Astute. So the body's a little bit hammered. It's got like wet marks on it. It's aged. You know, it's been around. But 58097. It's the real deal. And if I'm going to build it, it doesn't really matter what the box looks like. Original decal set, as horrid as it can be, because I'm not really a huge fan of what the Super Astute looks like, but I need a box art Super Astute for my collection to go with my regular Astute and my Dynastorm. So the original manual looks to be in good shape. It's not water stained or anything, so that's good. And then that's our presentation. So we've got our, I think there's 34 bushes in the Super Astute. I know the Astute has, I think, 56 bearings, and then this one has 34. And a lot of them are like the pivot points. But everything is here. I looked at the pictures well. All the parts are here. It's granted they're old. The wing looks brand new. All the parts bags are here. The TTC gearbox, everything is here. So it's gonna be fun to build it and build an original and be dealing with, having the original hardware that is not like in the ABC order. All of the screws are in one bag, all of the nuts are in another bag. It's going to be more along the lines of that kind of style kit. And you can't get anything better than building vintage kits. I have so much fun doing it. So I knew this one was a little bit spanked, but I still thought it was a good price for what you were getting. You have your original Super Astute wheels that are a little bit yellowish, but I've got tons of new ones, so it's not the end of the world. And then you've got all your plastics. So what I think is a Buyee bargain. Let me change the camera for a closing. So that's going to wrap up this video of the Buyee Bargins. What can I say? I'm crazy. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I've gotten a ton of stuff from Buyee in the past couple of months, and there are some bargains to find. And I probably shouldn't be saying this on film because I'm going to have competition. You guys are all going to be bidding against me. But when I built my DB01 Triple R, I had one 501 anti-sway bar. At the end of that video, I remember talking about it. I have 5 now. You can't find that stuff. You know what I mean? So when it comes to rare parts or hard to find stuff like that, I'm on it. I can't. $21. You know, it's like whatever. Like done, sold. Take it. I got setup wheels coming for one of my TRF chassis that I bought on Buyee for like 13 bucks. TRF shocks. A set of blacks. Now, you've seen my TRF videos. My chassis, half of them don't have shocks, right? These are like 180 bucks on eBay if you can even find them. 35, 29. I can't help it. You know what I mean? Like, how do you turn that stuff down? You can't turn that stuff down. It's like, I need them. I might as well buy them. So yeah, I love Buyee. I've got Florentine, Big Bore, black coated, like 5 sets of black coated. The aeration touring car ones. So yeah, because of Buyee, we have a lot of what we need for our future builds. So it's cool. It's super cool. This, I think, is still a deal even at $440. I've watched 801 sell over the years on eBay, and to get one with electrics, if you get one for $400 to $500, I think you did well, depending on the electrics. I saw one sell for $550 that had a castle setup in it. That's a little bit different. I mean, Surpass is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing them. I have a ton of Surpass stuff, and I love it, and it's never let me down. But Castle is like speed run stuff. Forget it. Nothing beats it. You know, it's when you get into 1/7 scale, and it all the speed runners are using Castle stuff. Hobby Wing is great too. The Max 10, the Max 8, the Max 5, the Max 4. I mean, the motor's like that big, but forget it. I mean, it's crazy. So I think that this was a good deal. You guys will have to tell me what you think in the comments. $440 to the door. I'm happy with it. What was that one? $420. It was under $500. $490 to the door. $480, $490. I think that's a good deal too. That thing was half price. You go on eBay, you're lucky if you see them under $600, and those were discontinued eons ago. Where are you find? I wanted to build it. You have to keep that in mind. Even to find an TA05 M4 chassis that's built for under $300 is super hard. It's super hard. You just don't see them come up. So to find a new unbox for that price, I'm ecstatic. That's a steal in my book. So yeah, Buyee Bargins. Hey, listen, thanks for tuning in today. I appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, consider subscribing. I know at least 40%. I don't look at my analytics a whole lot. I'm not one of those guys. I don't know how many likes I got in the last video. I barely know how many views I get. Roughly 1,000 to 1,500 per video. Unless it's finishing a body, then people don't want to watch that for some reason, and I barely break 1,000. But whatever, it doesn't matter to me. It matters that the people that do watch get something out of it. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. If you'd like to support the channel, consider subscribing if you're not a subscriber. We just gave away an Avanti 2001 to subscribers. Tons of giveaways to do this year. We're 6 months into the year. I get it. But my calendar year for the channel goes June to June. So to me, we're just starting this year. Ton of giveaways planned. So subscribe. Turn on your notifications. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Share. Do what you want. No stress. Let me know in the comments if you think that I got Buyee Bargins or did I get taken. Kind of think I got bargains though. Let me know. Till next time, we'll see you soon. Thanks.